I'm John, a local preacher in the Chelmsford circuit. I've been doing this for 7 years, but never before on camera, and never before have I preached about Revelation. If, like me, you're a fan of the lectionary, be reassured. Revelation mainly comes up on Trinity Sunday and Easter, and then only in second service. Kind of background to where the book of Revelation comes from. It's written by John the Evangelist. The main thrust for this being prophetic writing of John. John's known as the disciple whom Jesus loved. The type of literature is called apocalyptic, full of symbolism and imagery. John is the son of Zebedee, a fisherman. He becomes an apostle. He becomes a gospel writer and the author of 2 New Testament letters. At the beginning of his gospel it says this: "We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard. Our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ." John writes in Revelation to support the early church in the time of persecution. The Roman authorities begin to enforce the cult of emperor worship. And John's hoping to give an outline of where he thinks or dreams things are going in an unknown future. Date of writing in Revelation is considered to be from about AD 95, which is some 15 to 20 years from the date attributed to the Gospel. John's status at the time of writing is as an exile from the Holy Land to the Roman penal colony on Patmos, having been tried for crimes as a Christian missionary. As a geographical note, Patmos is off the coast of Greece. Rome's there, Patmos is there, and then the churches that he's talking about in the previous chapter of Revelation are in modern Turkey to the east. The other point worth making at the beginning is John's drawn from other prophets. So he's drawn from the works of Moses, particularly in Exodus. He's drawn from Isaiah chapter 6 and Ezekiel chapter 1. And in a minute I'll start the main story, if you like, or the narrative, and it moves from a harangue, if you like, or the sort of prescription that he's handed out to the continuing 7 churches, and he begins telling the story of what his vision is of the end times that will come.
The island of Patmos, a speck in the eye of the sea, Patmos. John missed it deeply, the prison island to which he had been banished. For sure he didn't miss the dust, which got down your throat, nor the noise of the hammers and the splitting rock, especially not the labour in the marble quarry. Every time he saw marble, it was a reminder of the cost of discipleship. Yet even so, Patmos was for him a special place. Yes, indeed. Because it was the place where Jesus had appeared before him, spoken to him, touched him, and showed him wonderful visions that even poetry, let alone prose words, could never properly describe. John yearned for that experience again, just once more. Perhaps when it happened again, he was with Jesus forever and would never need to leave his side again. Lord, may it have been so. Child of God, I want you to know what John saw and heard. You want to know what he saw and heard, don't you? Let me try to explain and how it affects us. First of all, who is John? Well, some say he was the disciple of Jesus, one of the 12. Others say some other John, important to the early church. I say it doesn't matter. He, you, me, We all share the same flesh. What he experienced, not who he was, that's what's important. John, known to God, had been meditating, as he had done many times before, turning away from drudgery, tuning in to the divine, gradually moving into praying in the Spirit. Meditation, child of God, takes effort. It needs perseverance, especially it needs patience. John used the form of meditation that worked for him. Gradually tensions and distractions eased. Just like every time before, John did not expect this time to be any different. Why should it be? John was enjoying a meditation experience, praying, absorbing the words that flowed around and through him, perhaps like the wind, unseen but deeply felt. John was looking at the clouds, watching them change, blown as if by the wind of the Spirit. Perhaps he was wondering if any of the clouds were like the one which had been on the mountaintop and Moses had entered to encounter God and receive instruction. As he meditated upon the cloud, the reality of dust, dirt, grime, quarry noise gradually faded away. John had reached beyond meditation and entered into the sacred place of contemplation. Child of God, few people ever achieve this. God gives this gift. After years of meditation, it eludes me, but nevertheless, I am still blessed. Perhaps God will grant the gift to you. Who knows? Save God himself. However it might be, John was no longer working at meditation, no longer distracted by earthly reality, no longer hindered by his own thoughts. He was in the place of contemplation where only God is at work. And our witness John is in a passive state, open to receiving. I have reached the silence within, child of God, but the divine silence within the silence within, John is far ahead of me. As John looks, a little cloud appears, maybe fancifully the size and shape of a human hand. As John watches, the cloud spreads, and John wonders if rain will finally fall. Then the divine shower. The Spirit of love pours out upon the upturned face of John. For riding the cloud comes Jesus. In the bliss of the moment, John faints away until the reassuring voice and helping hand of Jesus raises him up. John, hand in hand with Jesus, is given a vision. Child of God, John sees a menorah. And what's, child of God, you ask, is a menorah? For I think you have never seen one. Let me read it to you out of Exodus. And here, child of God, is what it says in Exodus, part of chapter 25. The lampstand. Make a lampstand of pure hammered gold. Make its stem and branches, cups, calyxes and petals all of one piece. Give it 6 branches, 3 from one side and 3 from the other. Put 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and petals on one branch, 3 on the next, and so on. The same for all 6 branches. On the main stem of the lampstand, make 4 cups shaped like almonds with calyx and petals, a calyx extending from under each pair of the 6 branches. The entire lampstand fashioned from one piece of hammered pure gold. Make 7 of these lamps for the table. Arrange the lamps so they throw their light out in front. Make the candle snuffers and trays out of pure gold. Use a 75-pound brick of pure gold to make the lampstand and its accessories. Study the design you were given on the mountain and make everything accordingly. And you need to know this part also, child of God, for it is significant. It's from chapter 27. Now order the Israelites to bring you pure, clear olive oil for light, so that the lamps can be kept burning. In the tent of meeting, the area outside the curtain that veils the testimony, Aaron and his sons will keep this light burning from evening until morning before God. This is to be a permanent practice down through the generations for Israelites. John sees just such a menorah, a beautiful golden lampstand. He sees 7 such menorah, one for each of the churches of the province of Asia, a perfect 7. The light of each is shining outwards, surrounding the holy ark of the covenant, the table, the altar. But the Holy One is with John, not contained in a box, however beautifully made, or behind a curtain, however richly sewn together. Child of God, listen well, for the menorah lights are differing in brightness. Some are quite bright, some are flickering, some are almost extinguished. There is enough oil, surely. So what can this mean? Jesus speaks, and John, mortal man that he is, tries to remember the words he hears, so that later they can be written down, so that old storytellers like me can pass on the wisdom of the word. The words Jesus speaks are addressed to the 7 congregations of those 7 churches. But child of God, they're addressed to us as well. Words for you and words for me. The words of praise we like. Our hard work for the kingdom. Our refusal to quit in the face of apathy. Despite pain, poverty, sorrow, and dogged persistence. Our boldness in love and our holding to the way in faith. Our witness to the truth with vigour and zest. Our passionate patience. Yes, we like those words and sentiments. We savour them. We like to think that they apply to us. We bask in their glow. But do they really sum us up? Do they? Do they really, honestly, truthfully? Child of God, while your conscience works on you, I'll tell you about me. When I meditate, I use the words from Psalm 46. Be still and know that I am God. Concentrating on my breathing in and my breathing out. Repeating in rhythm with my breathing, be still and know that I am God. Sometimes I reach my holy place, my sanctuary, and I open the door and enter in the silence within. Do I see a menorah? No, I don't, for I see a workaday iron balance scale, somewhat like the one on top of the Old Bailey, the scales of justice. Perhaps now you can picture it too. You have a similar scales that is yours. As I look, I see mine. There it is, right in front, and it's personal to me, as yours is personal to you. I can't access the virtues of others to tip the balance. I can't freeload. I can't plead. It's mine, only mine, as yours is yours alone. Light as thistledown or dandelion clocks, I see my good deeds land on the one scale of the pair. Just perceptively, the scale dips. The few hours preparing a service, the praying for others, my listening ear, my faith and my love for Jesus. Yes, the scale noticeably dips as my deeds are weighed in the balance. But I am disturbed, worried, frightened even, for I know what comes next. Child of God, you too know what comes next. Words of criticism and condemnation. Words like pretense, indulgence of false teaching, lack of substance, too busy to do God's work, wallowing in the ways of the world, stale, stagnant, cross-denying. No, I don't like those words on the wind. Not me, surely, not me. But in my heart of hearts, I know the truth. And for each of those words of criticism and condemnation, a stone appears on the other scale. The scales tip the other way. I fall, condemned. Far too little weight on the side of the kingdom, and far too much weight on the world's side. The vision is before me, and your vision is before you. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. Child of God, look, riding the clouds, Jesus appears. Though we were as dead, his voice reassures and lifts us up. You see the wounds Jesus bears, the nail marks, the piercings of the crown of thorns, his riven side. And you understand, we understand, how, why, as the stones of sin disappear. You and I know at what cost our salvation has been joyfully achieved. My Lord and my God, there is a crown of life, sized and ready. There are robes of purest white. My Lord and my God.